Hey guys, today we're gonna learn the impulse factors. AKA known as F.U.G.I. So, what is impulse factors? What is F.U.G.I? Basically, F.U.G.I creates more desire and more impulse. So this would be a system to create, now bear with me right here, impulse. I want to talk to you guys about impulse first, because when I first started the business, I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was like an impulse grenade from Fortnite. But yeah, basically impulse, in other words, would be called desire. So this is like really desiring to get what you're selling. Are you selling internet? Are you selling better AT&T lines? Are you selling fiber? Just get the person to desire what you have. Now, that's what impulse is. But we're not creating impulse with F.U.G.I. What we're doing is creating more impulse. Huge difference, huge difference. So, let's start off with F. This is fear of loss. So what is fear of loss? Fear of loss is making the customer think that if they don't pick up the item immediately, they will lose their chance to get the product. So we have verbal and nonverbal ways of showcasing this. For verbal, what it would look like is the promotion might expire. So when you say the word the promotion might expire, like we really only have so many free activations per day, and AT&T sends us to different qualified areas every single day. So we can say this to initiate fear of loss. We can also say this one. This is a really good one. We won't be back in the area. We won't be back in the area. So if they don't do it now, we're gone. Now, there's also nonverbal ways of showcasing this. So for nonverbal, the way you can actually showcase fear of loss is stepping back. Take a few steps back, watch them like kind of be like, whoa, where's this guy going? I kind of like the product. Another nonverbal way of actually showcasing this is packing up items. So now let me just touch up on this a little more. So for packing up items, if a customer seems hesitant, just begin to slowly gather your materials as if you're preparing to leave. And this action will create like a sense of finality, and it'll really prompt the customer to make a decision to avoid missing out. For stepping back, if you just step back slightly or angle your body towards the exit, it can non-verbally communicate that the opportunity is about to pass. And for we won't be back in the area, don't try to convince the customer. This is fear of loss. We don't need the customer. If they're on the fence, before wasting time, you could just drop a line like, no worries, we just want to make sure you don't miss out on the promotional offer and not lose your opportunity to set up your free activation appointment. And then you could just close them like, are you doing mornings or afternoons? And if they don't want it, they don't want it. It's all good. We don't need the customer. Now, the second thing would be urgency. This is really important. Okay. Urgency. So what is urgency? We are in a rush. We gotta do lap 2. We gotta hit 100 doors. We're in a rush. We're always in a rush to find our next person. So there are verbal ways of showing urgency. What that looks like. Verbal. Right now. Super fast. Real quick. I love that one.
You're using different colors.
Takes no time. My favorite one, 2 seconds. You're creating like a false timeline. Everyone knows it doesn't take 2 seconds, but your brain gets tricked a little bit. It's a little slow. So I always like to say like, hey, real quick, super fast, just 2 seconds. Did anyone come by and let you know about the updates? I just used 3 urgencies right there. So it's really quick. And then nonverbal, what that would look like is just look at your watch. Look at your watch. Just once you look at it, it'll kind of hint to the other person, hey, this guy's on the clock. This is another one. Walk fast with a purpose. You want to walk with a purpose. Walk to your next door. You should know where the next door is by the time you're at the door you're pitching right now. If you're walking fast with a purpose, it'll create less time in between doors where negatives can seep in. So you want to walk with a purpose. Just urgency, urgency. Also, you got tapping. So tapping can be like your pen or your iPad or your foot. Just tap. Like sometimes when I'm closing a sale out and they're thinking, I just go like this and it's like, hey, stop thinking, make a decision. And it's usually, yes, I want the product. Now, the third thing that we have is greed. Greed. So what is greed? This is the single biggest reason that people buy our stuff. We save them money. Capitalize on that by using greed factor in the ways I'll show you guys right now. So, of course, we got our verbal and our non-verbals. So, for verbals, for greed, you want to use the word everyone. This word is powerful. I'm telling you guys, it's powerful.
Why?
Everyone wants what everyone has. That's just greed. Hey, everyone in your neighborhood is setting up their installs today. What time do you guys prefer, mornings or afternoons? It's everyone. And you also want to name drop. So make sure you guys gather people's names when you're leaving the door. Like, hey, what was your name again? Tom? Okay, Tom, have a great day. Name drop. Get those names in. And the reason why it's important is because, like, there's an example. Let's say there's a hurricane in Florida and a huge disaster happened. Now, when we hear on the news, like 5 people died, this and that, it's all right, you know, like it's sad. But then on the news, if you hear like, hey, Tom died, Susie died, Sam died, Christian died, like all these people died, when you use their names, it becomes more personalized and there's a little more effect. So that's why we name drop. Now, you can also say this in a good way. Like, for example, hey, your neighbor Chris, he just received his phones today and I'm signing up his mom, Michael. So name dropping is really important. One sec. So name dropping is really important. Now, we also have some other stuff. For example, free stuff. Hey, you guys are getting free activation, free equipment, free installation. Free. We love free. Hey, you're getting free shipping, free phones, free. We love that. For phones, by the way, don't say free. It's a $0 down. But yes, free. You want to really take advantage of the greed. And also, you want to stress the deal by going over the high and the low and the savings more than once. So, stressing the deal. So, hey, the regular price for this plan is usually $120. That's the high per month. But right now, with our promotion, it's only $90. That's the low. And that's $30 you save every single month for better stuff. And that's the savings. And then we also have nonverbal ways. And this is my favorite one. This is called the Jones effect. You know, like keeping up with the Jones. So, for example, let's say there's like 3 houses. House number 1, they get a pool. First pool on the street. Everyone's like, whoa, these guys have a pool. Cool. So then what does house number 2 do? He gets a pool too. But now what he does is gets a hot tub. He one-ups the Jones. And now this dude's like, oh my God, they got all this cool stuff. I don't have anything. So he gets a pool and a hot tub. And he's a baller, shot caller, Christian Dior. So what he does is gets a basketball net too. And now what happened? Because of this one tiny little pool, the whole street has a lot of cool things. So that's what the Jones effect is. That's a nonverbal. So the first neighbor buys something, and now you have to keep up with the Jones. Also, pointing. Pointing is super effective. You'd be like, hey, did they tell you about the updates? Sam just got his updates. You're pointing at the houses right across the street. I also love in apartments to just point down at the floor and be like, hey, I just spoke to your neighbor, and I'm pointing at the ground because they're probably in like the 2nd level. And just pointing is also agreed, like that dude, they all have it. So pointing, really good. Now the last thing we're gonna learn is indifference. This is a good one. Indifference is super important. It's being the opposite of a salesperson. Not pushing the person towards the sale, but acting as if you couldn't care less whether they grab it or not. Just remember, please remember, indifference is confidence. It is not attitude. So do not be like, okay, you don't want it, and then leave. No, it's just, all right, you don't want to save your deal? Okay, I'm just gonna go see if I can help out your neighbors. Just be indifferent. Don't be sales breathy, like, I need the product. I need to get a sale, because they'll pick up that. So there's verbal and nonverbal ways of showing this. Verbal, really easy. Man, it's only a good deal if you can use it. So for me, when I do my presentations, I show them the product, I show them all the highs and lows, the savings. And I'm like, hey, it's only a good deal if you can use it. Real quick, what was your first name? And then I'm like closing them. So indifference. Also, you can say it's just Wi-Fi for the internet dudes. Like, hey, it's just Wi-Fi. What's the big deal? Or it's just like cell lines. Like, it's just a cell phone line. Like, what's the big deal? Be indifferent. Be the opposite of a salesperson. Now, a non-verbal way of showing this, use this, especially when you get a hard no and someone's yelling at you. And pause. This is where you go like this, like, hands up. Like, hey, man, sorry, I didn't see the no soliciting sign. Have a great day. Just de-escalate, panda pause, show them your pause. It's like a psychological thing. You can also take a step back. Like, you're just like talking to them like, yeah, dude, it's just a good product. And then you take a step back, but then you come back. Blah, blah, blah. Or you can shrug. your shoulders. Shrug, like, so you're just saving $30, just shrug. It's showing indifference. You're not pushing the sale. So if you do all of these things, fear of loss, urgency, greed, indifference, you will build more desire in the person, because when you're about to leave, it's going to desire them to come, for them, like, to be like, hey, come back. When you're quick, it's going to desire them, like, oh, I got to do this right now. If you're showing greed, they're going to desire what everyone else has. It's just desire. And when it's indifference, they're not putting up their defense system, so it's more easily to be desired. So all these things create more impulse, more desire, and it helps you get onto that buyer's line so you can actually close them and actually complete a sale. So that's the impulse stuff.